You ready? Hey, mommies! Welcome to the Pottering Show.
I'm Miriam.
I'm Lachey, aka Shay. Anyway, we have a good show today. Today's topic is single dad raising a daughter. Like, we have a bunch of questions for our guests, but we're not going to bring him up yet. I have a check-in moment. You know what my check-in moment is? Do you take fashion advice from your kids?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so my 6-year-old son gave me a little fashion tip. The other day I was getting dressed and my hair was like kind of the way it is now. And I was
cute, girl.
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
Wait, girl.
Anyway, so he was like telling me what kind of lipstick to wear. And I already had in mind that I was gonna wear like a pop of red. So it was like he kind of confirmed like you need to wear that red lipstick. So he's like, "Mommy, you should put on some red lipstick. I see ladies wear red lipstick all the time." And I was like, "Okay, let me try the red lipstick." So I put it on, and I was like, "Trey, look at my lipstick." He was like,
He wants you in the gang. You're like, I got to have my mama.
"Girl, because you know he trying to get me married already. He be asking me like my relationship updates." So I think that's what it is.
I love it.
But that's my cute little check-in moment. My
I love
6-year-old gave me some great fashion advice, and I got a lot of compliments actually at work with my hair and my popping lipstick.
Hey.
So hey,
So he know
Trey,
what you're talking about.
thank you. Hopefully, stepdaddy will be on his
Trey.
way. Okay.
Because the red lipstick
Right.
can draw him in.
Alrighty, so our guest for today is Joseph Delia. He has an 18-year-old daughter who he's had full custody of since she was 4 years old. He works for the County of Los Angeles, and he goes by Super Dad.
Super dad.
Please welcome to the show, Joseph Delia.
Okay, guys, so we have our single dad joining us on Powder Room Couch. Thank you, Joey. I don't call him Joseph. He's like a brother to me, so no. So thank you for joining us and giving us your story as to raising your daughter. So let's just get right into it. So the first question we have for you is basically, how did it come about? Like, how did you become a single dad or raising your daughter on your own?
Long story short, I want to first say that it had nothing to do with anything our mother did wrong. It was more or less a situation where our daughter kept getting hurt at the preschool she was in, and it happened 3 different occasions. I mean, like a scrape on her chin, a whole plug of hair pulled out of her head, a black eye, and the school never knew what happened. So that was like, okay, enough is enough. She's out of there. And I always wanted her to live with me. So I kind of took advantage of that situation and said, well, why don't you let her come stay with me? And who's the dean of our Bible college now at the church, she had a preschool at the time, and it was 5 minutes from me. So I was like, why don't you let her come live with me? She can stay here. She go to school over here. And her mom was a little reluctant, like any mother would be. But I was like, she can come stay with you on the weekends. You can see her whenever you want during the week. She was okay with it. Initially, the idea was that she was going to go back to live with her mom once she got into kindergarten. But her mom fell in some hard times. And so, long story short, she just ended up with me full time.
Oh, so it wasn't like her mother was on drugs
No,
or
nothing like that at all. Her mom's been a regular part of her life since she was born.
So do you even count as a single dad? If her mom in a regular part of her life?
I mean, I'm not married, so I mean, technically, yeah, I'm a single dad, yeah. I mean, I didn't have a mom in the home, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was nobody in the home. You know, I was doing the day-to-day parent stuff, so, yeah, I mean, I guess technically I am.
Well, that's good, because a lot of times you hear about, which is strange to me, and you do have those crazy moms out there who it just doesn't work out for them, and they have to, you know, someone else has to care for their kids. Okay.
Yeah, that is good and refreshing to be able to hear that you guys came to a mutual agreement.
Yeah, it was definitely mutual. It wasn't anything like she did anything wrong. It was
But yeah, look, if my baby came home with a black eye, I would find some kids.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that was difficult for
in a
sure.
patch of hair.
Yeah. It took about a year for that to grow back too. It was, or maybe longer. It was rough. It was rough for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was, I guess that was a good decision you guys made together, you know, to get her out of that environment. Okay.
Definitely.
Right. So did you ever feel that your daughter was missing out on anything in the home because there wasn't a mother in home?
Absolutely. I feel like,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, let's just keep it a buck. I mean, anytime you have a parent missing in the home, the child is missing out. And even as a parent, it's more difficult when you don't have the second parent there. Like me being a dude, like there's just some things that I don't know about because I'm a man. I don't know about all these little feminine things and female problems and issues. And so it's definitely difficult for both parties. I know she wanted her mom around more. You know, she was happy or content, I guess, with seeing her mom on the weekends. But I know it was difficult on her. But, you know, you make the best of a bad situation. It's unfortunate. But when things don't work out between parents, you know, tell it like it is. The kids suffer a little bit. And that's unfortunate, but you just make do with what you have.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's my first time actually hearing you say that. I never thought that you felt Jayla was missing out on having a mom in the house.
I mean, definitely. I mean, there's one parent in the home. That's in my belief. I just don't believe God intended for us to raise children, you know, being single. So
Preach, brother, preach.
That's true.
No, that's for real.
It's
And
like
I think,
even ground.
and it's not, and because God didn't ordain it that way, that's why things are just messed up with people who are raised in single parent homes. Like that wasn't the intent for God for kids to be raised in a single parent home.
Right.
Period.
There'll always be that unevenness or
Right.
that battle or struggle to be whole, you know.
Absolutely.
You know,
and just to be clear, it's not like the end of the world.
Right.
No,
But
it's
you
not.
have to
Absolutely.
work that much harder
Exactly,
to make
yeah.
things good for your
Yeah,
kids.
it's not
so.
the end of the world, yes. Because, I mean, there's millions of single parents out there who are doing just fine.
Right.
But, yeah, like you said, it just makes your job a lot harder. So, let's get into some of the challenges of raising a single daughter. Do you think it'll be different if you had a little boy versus you having a girl?
For sure. I actually believe the Lord gave me a daughter for a reason. I think if I'd have had a son, I'd have been too hard on him. I think definitely having a daughter softened me up to a degree.
Really?
I'm not soft.
That's what I was to say. 'Cause
I'm not soft,
You
but
hard on her.
I am tough on her because I think we coddle little girls too much, and then they grow up being little coddle women, and they don't know how to deal with men. And I don't raise no punk.
Is that a word?
So I want my daughter to have some kind of wisdom, you know, and when she deals with the world, for one,
Right.
because it's a tough world out there. You know, it's like it's dog eat dog, and I want her to be able to handle that. I don't want her to crack under pressure, but at the same time, she still has those soft kind of feminine ways, and it wasn't easy for me because like my natural reaction to certain things, to you know, you
Punch
being
somebody?
yeah, for sure.
You would
Like,
have
I
punched
just-
them?
you know, but you got a little girl, and you,
Lord,
you know what I'm saying.
thank
You can't do that with a little
Yeah,
girl. So it's
totally.
like you gotta woosah, you gotta reel it in,
Yeah.
and it's definitely difficult. Like you know, I've seen like my brother-in-law, you know how he is with my nephews when they were would cut up when they were younger, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't like, hey, sock him in the chest one time. You know, I couldn't do all that. You know, so.
Because then she'll be thinking that's okay for her to get hit by a man.
Right, and I did spank her, but at a certain point, it was like the Lord dealt with me about that, and it was like you don't want her comfortable with a man putting
Right.
his hands on her.
Yeah.
So
Remember I
I
told you that?
We were talking about that. Yeah.
With discipline, my mom, she was
Yeah.
the spanker,
Uh-huh.
and my dad was more of the like, wait till we get home, tell your mama.
Verbal,
You
yeah.
know, like, because
Yeah.
she didn't want her girls to be comfortable with a man hitting
Exactly.
right.
them.
And
So,
but see, that was the thing though. Who else was going to discipline her? Because I was the only one in the home.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was
So
where
I can
I
see
had
the
to.
frustration.
Yeah, it was difficult. Very.
Oh wow.
So where did you find that medium?
It took a lot of changing on my part. You know, it's like I had to really sit back, think. I had to like consult moms and my sister,
Okay.
other like veteran
Outside.
parents. You know how to do it, and then I had to really pay attention to my daughter. You know
Okay,
what
that's
was going to
good.
work. Well, how was she going to react to certain things? Like, you know, when she got old enough to have a cell phone, I could take her phone, but after a while, you do that a couple of times, she doesn't care anymore. She'll figure out other things to do. So it wasn't easy for sure. It was very difficult, but you know, you make it work, and you just keep making it work over time, and you get better, and you know, you work on it, and you just keep improving.
And I like what he said because I remember when I was pregnant with my first child, Janiyah, my daughter, and someone said the best advice that I can remember that I received about parenting was always listen to your child. they'll help you raise them by how they react and what they respond to. And I always remember that I was pregnant, and years later, that's like the best parenting advice I can remember.
For sure.
Especially having multiple kids, different discipline styles work, and they can be raised in the same home, but certain kids, their temperament and their reaction to things works different with different kids. You know, the one thing that works for your daughter might not work for your son. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, that was some good advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet he wish he had a cup now. I see over there cleaning your throat.
No, I'm good. Trust me. I am good without a cup.
Mind you,
Team no teacups.
I've been trying to get him to get a mug. He does not want to have a mug because it's too feminine for him. It's a man law he has.
I'm not. No, first of all, here's the thing. I can drink coffee and tea, but not out of those cups. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
He need
whatever.
a super dad cup or something like
Whatever.
Give me like a black cup, or you know what I'm saying, a blue cup, something like that. But look, it says the powder room on it. What I look like drinking out of?
It's a show.
I get that. I get that. Y'all need a man version. How about that?
No, we
See,
don't.
those are too high.
This is called mom.
You need something short and stubby. You know what I'm saying?
that.
For a male
What
guest.
color would they be? Blue?
Black or blue. You know what I'm saying? Maybe gray.
Whatever.
Brown. Neutral colors. You know what I'm saying?
But it's
Anyway.
2019, 2020.
Oh, what
like,
that mean?
Some men,
What
they
that
like
mean?
different color. They like
I
variety.
don't
so-
subscribe to that. It could be, it could
Are we
be,
filming,
it could
by
be
the way?
21,
Yeah,
22.
getting all caught on camera.
Oh, good.
And I'm fixing
But it happens. Look, you guys have seen the raw, the ugly, and everything else in season 2. Okay.
Okay, so how do you balance? I think you basically answered the majority of the question, but how did you balance like remaining like that heroism in your daughter's eyes, remaining that hero, but still having like that soft, you know what I mean?
No, I get what you mean.
Fragile.
Fragile never. You know, honestly, I was never trying to be a hero. I was just trying to be a good dad. And
Oh,
I think,
I'm sorry. That was so good. That was good. That one got me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Really? Okay.
That one got me.
bless her, Lord.
That
Bless
one
her.
got me.
I wasn't trying to be a hero. I was really just trying to be a good dad. And I think transparency is super duper important. And for me, like I look at the end game. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's she gonna be when she becomes an adult? And one of the things I did was use my mistakes in the past as a way to let her know, like, look, these are the mistakes you don't want to make. These are the things I've done, and the women have been hurt by it, you know, and these are the things you need to look out for. And, you know, if you want to know about a man, you need to talk to a man, you know, if like these are things, it's like transparency was super duper important. So it really wasn't about looking like Superman. It was just about being a good dad, raising a young lady who's going to become a young woman. And I want her to be able to function well in society and know, you know, what she's getting into, what she's going to have to deal with, how to deal with these things. And using myself as an example was the best example, because who knows better about me than me?
Right.
You know, and you know, being a man, I can tell her about being a man more honestly than anybody else would. So you know, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't about being a hero. It was just about being a good father, good parent, and making sure that she understands what she's getting into when she gets to the real world. And I'm not there with her. You know?
My
good.
respect level for
That's
you
good.
has like went up like 3 more
Yeah.
notches. Like, I just thought you was a joke, but like now you're like
Wow, a joke.
you're like a super joke.
Wow. Okay, y'all don't shake on that.
I'm just playing. But no, like
Yeah,
for you to
that's
even say that, like you're not trying to be no hero, you just want to be a good dad.
Right.
And that's you. I mean, it's just really awesome to say that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show, because yeah, though we're single moms, it's some great single fathers out there, and I don't want single fathers to get lost in the wind, because we're, you know, this is Mom Talk Network. And I, you know, it's catered to single mothers, but I also wanted to bring the light to single fathers. There's some great single dads out there.
A lot more than people think, actually.
Right, absolutely.
There are a lot more single fathers out there than
Absolutely.
people want to give us
Give
credit
for it.
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely. So this is the perfect time. I'm like, yeah, this is the perfect time to give you guys your credit by having a single father
Right,
on the show,
right.
you know?
Represent,
Right.
represent.
right.
From the man squad. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You crazy. Okay, so let's get into, like you said, having a woman in the home. Certain things were just uncomfortable for you. Like, how did you navigate her developing and getting to the woman stuff? Was it uncomfortable? Was it awkward? Was it?
Not really. I mean, I started doing the whole buying tampons and pads before she was even born with her mom. You know, so That wasn't a big deal. I would, if there were questions that I had that I didn't have answers to, I would go to my mom, my sister, you, I mean, whoever. But it wasn't like a super duper uncomfortable thing for me. I just, it was something that I got used to earlier on. So it wasn't a big deal. You know, my main thing was just hygiene, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure you fresh.
I can't stand a stinky woman, so I definitely couldn't have a stanky daughter. So that was, I was like, man, I definitely had to keep her up on that. Like, look, you can't be out here foul, you know what I'm saying? She would get in my car after practice sometimes, and I'm like, I know you've been sweating, but
it's after practice, at least.
Still though, it's like, you know, we need to work on that. But no, it was one of those things where that was my main thing, was just the hygiene aspect of it. And I, like, again, I would even consult moms or my sister, whoever, just to kind of, you know, talk to her about it, you know. And again, I can't go in the bathroom with her, you know, so having somebody else there was definitely definitely
like from
important.
Front to back.
Right. Like, yeah, that's something I'm not trying to talk to you about. Like, even if I know that, it's like, nah, yeah, you know, you can go talk to your grandmother.
To your auntie,
your
right?
auntie, somebody else.
Right.
Wow.
They ain't doing all that.
But you know what? Being a single dad of a girl, that's like the soft part that you have to like think about. It is so cute because it makes you like, this is what women deal with, you know, and then the mood swings and then the developing of the breast and all kinds of stuff. Is like,
that was actually the hardest thing.
Really?
Yeah, because finding bras was, oh my God, I feel bad for y'all. Finding a good bra.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
Lord have
He
mercy.
knows. Oh, so he
you feel
knows.
it, you feel it.
Yeah, buddy, because I've done bra shopping before. I'm like, this is expensive. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's
My
frustrating.
goodness.
It's a whole
And what
day.
makes it worse is my daughter's not a little girl, so that
Yeah.
makes it even harder. It's like we gotta go to special stores, and it's like it's
And like you said, good bras expensive.
yeah, it is. So I'm like, whew.
You don't make sure you ain't jiggling all over the place.
I
See,
know.
that's like,
How you?
hey, dude, that's, you know, like, yeah, that's the part. And then she's an athlete, so it's like you got to get the sports bras, and so it's definitely different. Yeah, for sure.
Oh Lord,
Wow.
poor
So I'm
Joey.
glad somebody feel the pain.
Right.
Because it's a whole day's effort.
Yeah,
Shopping for some of that
you out
stuff.
here
Just
buying bras, like, yeah, here
Right,
we go.
right.
Yeah.
Just imagine wearing one. It's just
I don't want to imagine that.
uncomfortable.
Big
Big as I am, I ain't never had boobs, so I'm good.
Amen. Every day, all
I'm
day.
good.
Right, girl. Oh my goodness.
So in terms of dating, how did you incorporate that into your social life?
It was pretty easy, actually. Just kidding.
He's like man of the night. It's pretty
No, I mean, no.
Like what?
No, I mean, like, again, her mom was always in the picture, so usually she would go visit her mom on the weekends, and that's when I'll be free to date or do whatever. My mom kind of taught me a rule, really inadvertently. I just heard her saying it about somebody else, but it was like, you don't bring anybody around your children unless you know they're going to be a part of your life long term. And I never did. She's grown now. She's 18, and I never brought a woman around her that I didn't think was going to be there long term. Obviously, I'm still single, so it didn't work out. But I think in the 18 years of life, she saw me with 3, maybe 4 women. Mm-hmm. So I definitely didn't do that, you know. So it wasn't hard for me. I mean, you know, you keep your conversations on the phone till after she goes to bed, or you know, keep them private so she doesn't get involved in that. You don't bring them around unless you know they're going to be long term. So it wasn't difficult at all. You know, it was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, and that's commendable because I know quite a few men that are single dads and that don't follow that rule. They've introduced their kids to numerous amount of women in a short time span too.
My thing is too, like, I didn't want my daughter to think that this is acceptable behavior for a man. Like, he's got different women in and out the house all the time.
You know some stuff.
Even though I might have been acting a fool when she's not there, which I was at one point when she was younger, but I don't want her to see that. That's not something I'm about to bring around her. So
even though
That's
you were
a
in
good
that
example.
mindset and you evolved from that mindset, you still
I was conscious of how she was viewing it, and, you know, what she was seeing, and, you know, I definitely didn't want her to think that was okay, or, you know.
And in terms of your daughter dating?
What's that? she you know, like, I know she like boys. I mean, I've, you know, read text messages.
You one of them?
Oh
You
yeah,
one of them?
absolutely. You have no privacy in my house.
Hello.
You pay no bills. So she didn't ever go out on any dates.
Because you probably scared them away.
Hey, You know, if I scared them away, even better. But I mean, the only thing is like I don't want her to feel like she was sneaking around. So when I would check her phone and see certain things, I would do my best to not overreact. You know, I would talk to her and just because I wanted her to be comfortable. It's like if I do want to talk to somebody, you know, I want him to be okay with. I want her to be able to speak to me. But she was also really, really busy, you know, with school and sports, and you know, the sports would have her traveling a lot. So she legitimately did not have a lot of time. But you know,
I think that was the goal that you.
That's what I was gonna say.
You liked. She didn't have time to date.
Hey, you know, that's on her. She got to manage her time. You know? If she too busy, I mean, you know, that's on her.
That was on her.
I feel like, honestly, though, with a teenager dating, what are you dating for?
Right.
That's true.
I mean, if you're not dating with the intention of being married, then that's just a homie, and y'all ain't dating. So,
a homie with benefits.
the devil is a liar. Yeah, somebody get shot.
Hold hands, kiss.
It's the devil's a liar shot.
Which one
The
is
devil
it?
is a liar, and she can get shot for that. Somebody got to die.
Because you know that's all teenagers want.
Yeah.
They want to hold hands. They want to text somebody. Hey, boo, how you doing? I'm doing good.
They say
You know.
hormones raging. I'm not entertaining that conversation. Nah.
Well, she does have hormones, Joey. Like
No, she don't. She
Okay.
good.
She good.
That's a true dad, right?
Suppress them.
That's a true dad.
She just
She
robotic.
good. She is. Absolutely.
See, that's the difference though. If he had a boy, he'd be like, "Yeah, boy, get that. How you
Yeah. How many
I don't have a boy, so I don't know what I would do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I do have a daughter though. She has no hormones.
If you had a
Okay.
son, it would be a completely different story.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah,
guess
I was
Yeah.
just reading
I don't
something
know.
like that, how parents with sons are way more lenient than parents that have girls.
Well,
You
I
know?
think they should be to a certain extent because you're potentially raising a potential father and a husband,
Right.
and a man who's gonna carry a house. So some stuff you have to kind of push them out there a little bit more and allow them to be confident in decision making
That's right.
and things like that because a whole family is gonna depend on him one day.
Right.
So. I mean, I can get that to a certain extent, and then you want to teach your daughter, you want her to be independent, but at the same time, if she has a good man, you want her to know her place as well to let the man lead and let him do what he's supposed to
Be
do.
more
for his
reserved
family.
in certain
Right.
things.
That's definitely a difficult thing because you know you want to teach your daughter, you know, your children, period, independence and whatever else, but you want to also allow her to be vulnerable, you know, and because I'm a lot of men don't necessarily handle women that are super duper independent too well to the point where she doesn't need him. You know, a lot of men feel like they need to be needed, and so teaching her, you know, independence and yet still being able to want to be around a man or allow a man to lead if he wants. I mean, it's 2019. People do things differently nowadays, but you know, it's but as far as the boy thing, I think we do that a lot of times because how many men are out here in comparison to women getting hurt? It's usually the woman getting hurt, and you know, and so we do things to protect our daughters, and we're overprotective of them because we're worried about them being hurt by a man. You know, and that was kind of one of my thoughts raising my daughter was like, I want her to know what to look for and what to expect, how a man should treat you, how he should act towards you. You know, what signs do you look for to know if he's cutting up and, you know, these, because like I said, it's not that women don't dog men out here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, you always see the woman, generally speaking, getting hurt more than men do. So as a dad, I'm trying to raise my daughter to protect her from that. You know.
Ooh, yeah, that's so deep. That's wonderful. Wow.
Okay, so now since Jayla's 18, do you think you did a good job? How is it now parenting somebody newly in college and she's away? She's not even in the States right now.
She's in the States. I mean, she's in
Well, she's in the States, but she's not in California.
Right.
So how do you think you did so far, like as raising her to become this, you know, adult?
You know, I mean, for the longest, I didn't want credit. I felt like I was just doing what I was supposed to do as a parent. But now, you know, that she's gone away to college, and I'm able to kind of, sort of, you know, appreciate all the effort. I'm like, yeah, I can pat myself on the back a little bit. I did all right, you know. Like I'm still, you know, it's still a work in progress.
Right.
She just started school, but I am definitely happy for her. proud of her and the work she's done, and I'm able to say, I guess she didn't do too bad. So that, I'm pretty happy. There are a lot of things I probably would have done differently,
of course,
in hindsight, but overall, she's doing well. I'm happy for her, and I just thank God there's people out there that I know and trust that are looking out for her, and she's doing good and having a good time. So.
Dad,
wonderful.
That was good.
He does that anymore. I didn't know that was still a thing.
It's still a thing. It's still a thing.
She just brought it back.
I just brought it back. So this is our 1 minute ministry. Hey, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. You ain't gonna dance with us?
No.
Okay. No.
I think that was his little dance.
Right.
That's one.
All right, so this has been great. It's been such a pleasure, getting a new, fresh perspective from a single father. What is the takeaway that you want people to run with?
I guess if I could give one piece of advice, it wouldn't be the single dads. It would just be the single parents in general. It's to sort of hijack a line from Avengers Endgame, whatever it takes. For me, whatever it takes. Like for me, I had to change a lot as as a man, as a person, and being a good parent was the most difficult thing I've ever embarked on. It was the most difficult journey, but I was willing to do whatever it took to reach my daughter, because at the end of the day, I have all this information, this knowledge, this wisdom to give her, but if I can't give it to her, then it's never going to be any good to her. And I have to be able to reach her. I have to be whatever it takes for me to reach her, so she gets this information, she gets this knowledge, she walks away with this wisdom. That's what you have to be willing to do, as a parent, single or married. I mean, just a parent in general. Whatever it takes to reach your child so that they get the information that you have for them, so that they can go on and they can go. Because my thing is, I don't want my daughter to be on par with me. I want her to go further and go higher and do better than I've ever done. So whatever it takes to reach your child, do it.
That's right.
And there you have it. There you have it. We got a perspective and the look of a single father. And let me tell you something. There are some great single fathers out there. One of them was on our show, right? Can we agree?
Yes.
We're going to agree.
We agree. Hey, popping collars. Is that a thing?
I just brought it back.
You just brought it back.